Welcome everyone to this to our first lesson for the week. Could you believe it? This is week 2, right? Week number 2 already. Okay. And what I want you all to do is that as you enter, okay, please send here or present or place here or present, not in this chat box, but onto my phone number. Again, my phone number is 428-8971. Place here or present to my phone number. Okay, here or present. Send it through WhatsApp. Okay. Okay, so all right, the recording is going on. All right, let's see if the recording is doing. Give me one moment. Remember, as you enter, please place here or present, but send here or present to my WhatsApp, not inside the chat. All right, we still have a few students still entering. Give me one moment. I'm trying to make sure that this thing is recorded so that we can have it again for use again. Okay, it's still being recorded. That's good. Alright, so that means that we're ready to begin. Wow. It is Monday, first day of the week. Kennedy, how are you doing?
I'm doing well,
You're
thank
doing
you.
well. Okay. How's everyone else doing? Are we good?
Yes, sir.
Alright.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, so
Great. So, evening classes, right? We begin first with math, and then we move on to English. Okay. And so glad that you all are here. Let me share my screen. Can you all see me and hear me clearly?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay, that's good.
Yes.
Okay, good. Let me know if you can see my screen.
yes, so
Yes.
Okay, great. So, this lesson, to be honest, is a continuation of the lesson that we began last week. All right. If you want a recording of that, I could send you a recording of that. But last week we started off talking about, let me go here. We started talking extensively about linear equations. Okay. We started talking extensively about linear equations. That's what we really talked about extensively last week, right? Anyone can remember the formula for linear equations? The formula for a straight line equation, I should say.
Which one?
I don't understand what you mean, which one? There's only one. The formula for a straight line equation.
You mean
Oh,
y equals mx plus b?
yes. Oh, I think I understand what this question is.
I thought
Maybe he's talking about standard form. I mean the one we did last week. I mean slope intercept form. Slope intercept form.
So you
Okay.
mean the y2 uh, take away y1 over x2 take away x1?
No, that's the slope. I'm talking about the equation for the straight line, and the equation for the straight line is y equals mx plus b. Okay. That's the equation that we talked about extensively last class. And we said that m, right, m is the slope, and we said that b is going to be your y-intercept. Okay, so b is your y-intercept. Okay, so we talked about the formula for the slope, and we talk about visually what is the y-intercept. And so today we're going to put those ideas together, all right, and we're going to actually graph um, these linear equations. We're actually going to graph these straight lines. Okay.
Excuse me.
Yes.
I only enlisted this Saturday or Friday, I think, so I don't like know where we are.
Okay. What's the name? I mean, yeah. What's the name?
Abraham Asmath.
Abraham Ashmat. Okay. So you're trying to figure out what we're doing, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. No problem. We'll explain it as we go on. Uh, the questions that as we go on and we start doing the questions, um, it'll become clearer. Okay.
Okay.
But just follow step by step. And if it doesn't become clearer by the third question, then then you could ask any question that you want. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Good. All right. So let me allow these persons to join in. Who's asking to join? Okay. Great.
Do we still have to do the present in your your what's up?
Definitely. If you're here, as you enter, please place here or present, not inside this chat box, but to my WhatsApp number. Place here or present onto it. I've already placed my WhatsApp number in the chat.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Excuse me, can you put your number in the chat again, please?
Okay, no problem. 4288971.
We supposed to put like what we doing too? Like we
No, no, no.
usually
You're good. You're good. All right. Okay, so let's begin. So we begin with this question, and I hope you all have some graph paper with you. All right. If you don't have graph paper with you, you're actually gonna have to draw it out. But graph paper would make it a whole lot easier. Okay. So the first question starts off. It says, sketch the graph of each line. Okay. So number one, we have y equals 7 over 2x minus 2. This is an equation of a straight line. What is the slope of this equation? Anyone can remember the slope of this equation?
7/2.
It's going to be 7 over 2. And the reason why the slope is 7 over 2 is because 7 over 2 is the number in front of x. Okay? So 7 over 2 is the slope. What is the y-intercept?
-2.
Say it again.
-2.
-2. Very good. So the slope is going to be 7 over 2 and the y-intercept is going to be -2. So we're going to use those information. You're going to use the information of the slope and we're going to use the information of the y-intercept to help us to graph this line. So if you're here, what I want you to do is I want you to, in your notebook or in a graph paper, please graph this particular line that we're about to do. Please take good, diligent notes, and then at the end of the class, send a picture of those notes to me. Okay? That's very important. Again, please take diligent notes and then send a picture of the notes to me. Okay? Okay, so let's begin. All right, so let's begin with this. So in your book, right, or in your graph paper, please draw the line y, the y-axis, okay, and also draw the x-axis for me, please. Draw that out. One moment. Let me make sure I get the line. So we're gonna be trying to graph this line. Y equals 7 over 2x minus 2. Trying to graph that line. So let's begin. Now remember, let me put this on this side so we can have a clear. Let's put this on this side. Okay, and let's so this is number 1. Okay, boom. There we go. All right. All right, so let's begin. Notice carefully that since this is 7/2, the slope of this line is going to be equal to 7/2. Now remember what slope means from last time. We said that the slope tells us how much to go up and how much to go across. Okay, the slope tells us how much to go up or down and how much to go left or right or across. Okay, and so what we're going to do, we're going to use this slope to help us to graph this line. Okay, now the y-intercept from this, the y-intercept is going to be -2. It's always the number, the constant at the end. So the y-intercept equals to -2. Okay, so again, the slope is 7/2 and the y-intercept is -2. Okay.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
Are we supposed to draw the graph as well?
Please draw the graph because we're gonna be drawing the line on the graph.
Okay.
Draw the graph and also draw this and also write whatever on the screen. Please write. Okay. Give me one moment. All right. So again, please draw the graph and also write what I have down now. Okay. Okay. So all right. So now when we have -2, right? The -2 tells us um, where the line is going to cut the y-axis. Remember, -2 also always tells us this number always tells us where the line is going to intersect with the y-axis. So the first thing that we're going to do is that we're going to take this -2 and we're going to plot it on the y-axis. Okay, so that's the first thing we always do. Okay, so I'm going to plot that out in green. So our y-axis, on the y-axis, you're gonna put a dot. You're gonna plot on the y-axis -2. That's your first number, or that's the first point. You always could know your first point. Okay, and you only need two points to graph a line. You're always gonna know your first point. That's because your first point is always the y-intercept, right? That's the easiest one because they always tell you what the y-intercept is, right? At least you can always tell what the y-intercept is from looking at the line, the equation. So you know that your y-intercept is always this number at the end. So all you need to do in order your first step in graphing this equation, your first step is to plot the -2. Okay. Okay. So make sure please plot that. Give me one moment. Let me see if we can allow anyone in. Some people are still asking to join. Alright, welcome to those who are just joining. Make sure place here are present. Send it to my WhatsApp for me. Okay, so now that we have that -2 drawn, plotted, okay, now that we have that plotted, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to consider our slope. Now the slope 7, let me just let me just make a large note of this. This 7 means, right? So the 7 means move 7 times upward. Okay? So the 7 means move 7 times upward. Okay? That's what the 7 means. Okay? Alright, let me see if some persons are asking to join. So again, the 7 means move 7 times upward because the top number tells us up and down direction. Okay? Because it's positive 7, we're going to be moving upward. So 7 means move 7 times upward. Okay? Now the 2, okay, the 2 means, there's 2 at the bottom, the 2 means move 2 times to the right, to the right. So the 7 means, right, the 7 means move 7 times upward, and the 2 means move 2 times to the right. Okay, so we start at our y-intercept, and we're going to move 7 times upward. Okay, so let me allow these for some more persons in. Okay, good. Okay.
Is that because the 7 is positive?
You could think of it like that. But I prefer not to think of it like that. See, the 7 actually means move 7 times upward or downwards. Okay, but for our purposes, we are going to only consider it upward because the reason why we only consider it upward is because how could I put it so it makes sense to you? We could move. What I'm trying to say is that I could go 7 times downward and go 2 times to the right, and it would still be right. Okay, but it depends. Well, you know what? Let me just for simplicity's sake, let's just say that it's because it's positive that we're doing it upward. So that's one way of thinking about it. I guess with more examples, you'll understand what I mean when I say that either way could work. All right. But let me show you what I mean. The positive, okay, because it's positive, right? Because it's positive, the only thing that positive tells us really is orientation. The positive tells us that we're going this way. That's what we know for sure. We're climbing, right? So we know that this line is going to look something like this. We don't know exactly, but we know it's going to look something like that. That's what the positive tells us, okay? The 7 just tells us that, hey, you have the leeway to go 7 times up or down. The 2 tells us that we have the leeway to go 2 times left or right, okay? But everything must flow within this orientation, okay? Well, let me show you what I mean exactly. So 7 tells us we're moving 7 times upward. 2 tells us we moving 2 times to the right, okay? What I mean is the following. Let's look at this. So we have 7. So we have this -2, and we're gonna move 7 times upwards. Okay, so 7 times upward. So it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so we move 7 times upward. Okay, and to 2 means that we move 2 times to the right. Sorry, that means that we move 2 times to the right, and so we're gonna move 1, 2. Okay, so the next point on this graph is going to be this point. That's going to be the next point on this graph. And remember, you only need 2 points to graph a line. And we have the 2 points. The first point is the y-intercept, and the second point we get by following the slope. Okay? In one moment. Let me see if I have anyone else that out. Okay, everyone is here. No one left though. All right. Okay, any questions for me before I move? Any questions for me? Remember? Go ahead.
Yes,
Yes.
I didn't get how you break it down. Could you show me that how you break it down, please?
You mean the 7 and the 7 and the 2?
Yes, please.
Okay, the 7 is on top, and because it's on top, that means we're gonna move 7. That means we're gonna move 7 times upward. Okay, it's on the top, and the top number of the slope always tells us up and down movement. Okay, so because it's 7, all right, and 7 is on top, all right, we know that we're gonna move 7 times upward. Now 2 is at the bottom, and the bottom always tells us left or right movement. Okay, so the 2 means that we're gonna move 2 times to the right. Now the way how I know it's gonna be up or right is because we already know that 7 over 2 is positive, not negative. So we know that we are going to form something like this. It's gonna be climbing. It's gonna be a line. It's gonna be something like this. So obviously, we know that if in order to form something like that, we need to go. We first of all we need to go right, and second of all we need to go upwards. All right, and so that's how I know that it's gonna be up, and that's how I know it's gonna be right, because it's positive, and we know that positive is gonna flow in this direction. Okay, and so I know that, okay, the 7, since it's on the top, it could mean upwards or downward movement. But because we know that it's positive and the orientation of the graph is going to look like this, we know that we have to choose the upward. Okay? And this one say 2 means 2 times to the right. The reason why it's 2 times to the right is because you have to go over, then up. Okay? And so that's how we figure out with the slope. That's how we use the slope to figure out what we're going to do. Now, seeing that we have these 2 points, we are ready to graph our line. Okay, so all we need to do is add a line. Okay, is draw a line that runs straight through these 2 points. Okay, so let me insert the line that runs straight through these 2 points. Okay, so one here, one there. The line must intersect these 2 points exactly. All right, so draw a line that cuts these 2 points. And so wait, and then let's do a line like this. Move it on the side, and let's color it, say, red. Okay, good. So this is the line. So I'm going to label the line now. This is the line. This line is labeled. We're going to label it y. You always label your line. Y equals 7 over 2 x minus 2. Okay, so that's how we label our line. Okay, should I do a next one?
Please.
Yes, please.
Okay, no
Please.
problem.
Yes, sir.
Yes, please.
No problem, no problem. Are we using our graphing paper to graph it up? Or
Yes,
would
sir.
okay, we're using
For
our
me,
graphing paper.
yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Anyone have to actually draw the graph out because they don't have no graph paper?
I draw mine.
Me.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
I
Send me a
had to draw
picture of them.
mine too.
I also
Me.
had to draw mine.
Seeing that it's graphing,
Because I
send
don't
me a
have a
picture
graph
of it. Let me
paper.
see how they are looking to see how I really have to manipulate it. Send me a picture of this first one. Okay.
You really want to see that, Mr. Petit?
Say it again.
You really want that photo?
Yeah, I want that photo. I want that photo. I want to see. All right, so this is the line. This is how we use the slope and y-intercept to graph our line. Okay. Okay. So let me see how these graphs looking. Okay, so this one from, I'm not gonna say the name, but make sure that you use a ruler to draw these lines. Okay, to draw this line. Make sure that you use a ruler to draw it. Okay. Who else? You know who you are. Make sure you use a ruler. Okay. Some people are using their. Some people actually draw the grid out. Wow, that's a lot. Very good, Miss Reckley. Wow, straight on point, right on point. Very good. All right. Okay, so they're looking good. So let's do a next one. So we're gonna use the same graph, and I'm gonna give you another equation. Okay, so let's say that we want to graph the line. So this is a new one, but it's gonna be very similar to the first one because I want you all to understand what's happening. So we have y equals, I'm gonna say y equals, say, let's say that this is 3, and let's say that this is 4x minus 1. Okay, and so let's graph out this line. Okay, let's graph out this line. Some people are still asking to join. Okay, now I got them. Okay, good. Now if you're just joining us, please place here or present inside the chat box. Okay, no, not inside the chat box, inside my WhatsApp number. My WhatsApp number is already given. If you're here joining us, please place here or present, send it to my WhatsApp number. Okay.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
You said to take a picture of the graphs and send it to you.
Yes, the graph that we just did.
Okay, you sent it.
Okay, you sent it. Perfect. All right. All right. Good. So please do this next one. All right. Let's do this next one together. The first thing we need to know is the slope. From this, what is the slope? Anyone could tell me what's the slope?
4/3.
4/3. Yes. The slope is 4/3. Now the slope is 4/3 because 4/3 is in front of the x. Okay. Whatever number is in front of the x, it is the slope. So the slope here is 4/3. Now the slope is going to tell us, right, how much we're going to move up or how much we're going to move down, how much we're going to move up or how much we're going to move across, up and down movement and across movement. So based on this, what does the 4 tell us?
We're gonna move up 4 times.
Very good. So the 4, this tells us that we're going to move up 4 times. Okay. And the 3,
You're gonna either go left or right 3 times.
very good.
Look like 3 times.
So we're going to move to the right
Right, 3 times.
3 times. Okay. All right, perfect. Now, what is the y-intercept?
1.
-1.
1.
-1. You gotta be careful. The
Negative 1.
y-intercept is -1. Okay. So y-intercept is -1. Now, we know that's the y-intercept because the y-intercept is always to the end, always that number to the end. Okay. So that is, the y-intercept is definitely -1, right? Okay, so what is the first point that we're gonna draw on this line?
-1.
Negative
Negative
The
1.
one.
y-intercept.
The
Negative
y,
1.
very good, the
Negative
y-intercept, -1. So we're gonna draw that right here. Okay, that's our first point. Okay. Now we know that this slope is positive. So that means that our line would look something like this. It would be ascending, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
because it's positive, right? So that means that we know that we got to go to the right and we know that we got to move upwards, okay? So let's do it. So that means that we are going to move 4 times upward. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Very good. Next, we're going to move how much times to the right?
Tree.
3 times. And so this is going to be 1, 2, 3. And so this is our point. We only need how much points in order to graph a line? How much points do we need in order to graph a line?
2.
We
2.
only need 2, okay? So seeing that we already have these 2
2
points,
points.
the y-intercept and this one that we found using the slope, we are going to simply draw the line through it, okay? So let's draw the line through it. Let me use the same line here. So we're going to draw a line straight through those 2 points. All right, one passing through there and the other one passing through here. Oopsies, sorry. Its orientation is missing. So let me make sure it's right. Okay, so this is stubborn. So we have to make sure that it passed straight through in the middle of these 2 points. Okay, so that the slope could be right. Okay, good. Alright, so that's pretty much it. Okay, good. So there we have it. So what is the last thing that we need to do before we finish with this question? What we need to do?
Label it.
We have to label it. Very good. Now we could label it. You don't want to label it here. You don't want to say y equals 4 over 3. You don't want to label it there. You want to label it someplace close to the line so that they can know that this is the line that you are labeling. So you can label it here, you can label it here, or you can label it here, but somewhere close to the line so that you can know that you're labeling this line. Okay. So I'm gonna label mine at the top. So y equals 4 over 3 x minus 1. Okay.
I get a question with the line itself.
Wait, give me one moment. Give me one moment and I'll answer that question. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, you see how this line, how you draw it straight through both of them? Like, when
Yes.
do you stop?
Where do we stop? That's a very good question. You want to extend it, but just don't go over the marker. Okay. So in your exam, they will give you a grid. Okay. All right. They will give you a grid. Extend it as far as possible, but don't go over the graph paper. Okay.
So how you have to do it like as far as to the edge as possible, or
You
you
now
just like
it doesn't matter, but you want to make sure that at least the line number one passes through these 2 points, but at least the line extends some far out and some ways out. Like it don't always have to extend all the way to the tippy top or to the tippy bottom, but it must have some sense of a line. It must feel like you can actually see the line. That's what I'm saying. So don't draw it like I wouldn't stop at -1 if I was drawing it. You understand? I would stop at least at -3, so that I could see the line forming. Another thing too, right, is that sometimes in the exam they would say, okay, -4 and +5 is going to be your starting and ending point. Sometimes they tell you your starting and ending point. Sometimes. In that case, you must follow what they say. So if they say that your starting point is -4 and your ending point is +5, then you don't want to draw the line over that point, over those points. Okay? But in the case where they um, don't in the case where they don't tell you, then of course you have a free will in deciding how long your line is gonna be. Just don't go over the grid. Okay, is that clear?
so.
Okay. Okay. So All right. So, all right, let's do one. I'm gonna do one more positive, and then we're gonna do a negative one. So I'm gonna do one more positive, and then we're gonna do a negative one. Okay. Okay. So please also draw this. Okay. And at the end of class, make sure to send me a picture. Or if you want to send a picture of it to me now, that's fine. I'm accepting pictures now. That's fine. So let's do a negative one. Sorry, let's do one more positive, and then we're gonna do a negative one. So this time, let's say we have 2 over 4. But this time, let's say we have positive 2. Okay, I don't like 2 over 4. Let's say 1 over 4. And let's say positive 2. Okay, so with this being said, okay, so with it like this, what is the slope?
1/4.
I can barely hear you.
1/4 is the slope.
1 over 4 is the slope. Very good.
1/4.
So the slope is 1 over 4. Very good. Now we know that that's the slope. Why?
Because it's in the back of the X.
Very good. It's the number that's in front of the x. Okay. Now for this,
Because it's before the X.
say it again. I didn't hear what you say exactly.
I think they were saying a number in the back of the X.
Yeah, once it's a number, so here we have 1 over 4, it's in front of the x, that will always be the slope. Okay, that will always be the slope. All right.
Wait, excuse me?
Go ahead.
But can you explain like what you mean by behind the X? I don't know what you mean by that.
Not okay, in front of the x. So we have 1 over 4 and we have x. So okay. So this is 1 over 4 and this is x.
Yeah.
So 1 over 4 is in front of the x. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh wait, so no, I thought it like you were meaning like somewhere on the graph.
Oh no.
That's why.
No. I mean right now. Okay, thanks for your question. Very, very good. Okay, so it's 1 over 4 x. And so the 1 over 4 is in front. And so therefore that's the slope. What is this? What is the y-intercept of this?
2.
The y-intercept
+2.
is positive 2. Very good. Positive 2. So the y-intercept. Let me put it at the bottom because we need space. So the y-intercept is going to be positive 2. And we know that because this is 2 right there. Now, what does this 1 tell us? What does
We
that
go
one?
up once.
Very good.
Upwards one time.
Very good. So the 1 tells us that we move
One time.
1 time upwards.
Upward. One.
So that's 3.
And the 4 tells us that we move.
Going to the right.
4.
Very good.
We're
We move 4
moving
times
to the
to
right.
the right. Very good.
4 times.
Okay, great. Okay. Now because this is a positive slope, that tells us that our orientation of the graph is going to be ascending or descending.
Ascending.
Ascending. It's going to be ascending because the slope is positive. It's a positive 1 over 4.
Ascending.
So we know it's going to be going in this direction.
It's ascending.
It's going to be ascending since the slope is positive. And so we know that definitely we need to go to the right and also go upwards. All right. Okay, so now let's draw this graph. So where do we start? What is the first thing we do?
Put in the y-intercept.
First plot the positive 2.
Very good. Plot the positive 2. Plot our y-intercept. That's the first thing we do. So we go to the y-axis and we plot in our 2. That's the y-intercept. We plot that. And then the next thing that we do is we say, okay, we could move 1 time upwards. Okay, that's what the 1 on top of the 4 tells us. So we can move 1 time upwards. So move 1 time upwards. Good. And then this 4 tells us to move 4 times to the right. So that means that we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And so that tells us the next point on our graph. Okay, good. And so now we need to, how much points do we need in order to graph a line?
2 points.
They only need 2
2,
points.
2 points.
Very good. And so that means that we already have our 2 points, the y-intercept and this point here. Now in the exam, do not put these arrows that I'm having here now. Don't put that. Okay. I'm just doing it so that you can know what's happening. Okay, so we're gonna make sure that our line cuts these 2 points exactly. All right. And so let me thicken this line. I'm gonna make sure it's in red so that you can see it properly. And so there we have it. Okay, we extend it as much as possible, as long as we want it. I'll extend it here and then be good. And so this is our line here. Now we could label this line. Remember, we want to label the line at a place where persons can know, okay, this is the line that we're labeling. So we can label it here. So let me make that clear. We can label it here. It's a good place to label it. Or here is a good place to label it. Okay. At the ends is fine. Alright, at the bottom end is fine. But don't label it down here. Okay. That wouldn't make much sense because then they wouldn't know what you're talking about. So this is going to be the line y equals to 1 over 4x plus 2. Okay. And so that's
When
how.
you labeling it, doesn't matter the orientation of the label.
Okay, what do you mean?
Like, does it have to be horizontal? Can it be vertical?
No, yeah, that's vertical. Vertical. Don't do it vertical. Don't do it vertical. Leave it horizontal. It could be slanted a little. It could be oblique a little, but don't do it vertical. All right. Okay, so any more questions before we go into the negative one?
No, sir.
No? Okay.
Can the slope have a positive and a negative?
Can the slope be positive and negative?
Yeah.
No, the slope can't be positive or negative and negative. It only could be positive or negative. It only could be one thing. There's only one number. So the slope can't be positive and negative at the same time. All right, so let's move on. So let's do a negative one. All right, and this one I want to see. So this one, if you're drawing it, Miss Joseph, I want to see this one. Okay, so I actually want to see this one. All right, if you're here and you did not place here or present into my WhatsApp chat, please do that. Place here or present into my WhatsApp chat if you haven't done so already. Okay, so let's continue. So we have So we want to do one that is negative. Okay, so we want to do something that's negative. So negative is going to be, it's a little different. So let's say we have, again, I'm not going to do something weird. Let's just say we have, again, 4 over 3. But let's say that this is negative. I want to put a negative there. I want the negative to be out front. Good. So let's say we have a negative 4 over 3, and let's say that we have plus, this plus 1. Okay. Okay, so let's consider this one. Remember, for this one, I really want to see it, please. So make sure that you do it properly. So when you send it to me, I can see it properly. Okay, so from this graph, what is the slope?
Negative
Negative
4
4.
Negative
4 3.
Very good. Negative 4 over 3. And so let's do this. So this is slope is going to be equal to, sorry, let me write that properly. All right, so the slope is going to be equal to negative 4 over 3. All right, so that's the slope. The slope is negative 4 over 3. What does that tell us? Now, this is very important, right? It's very important. Some people might think that the negative, so we have the negative here, and it's 4 over 3. Now, that negative refers to this entire number, okay? So some people might say, oh, the top number is negative and the bottom number is positive, or the bottom number is negative, the top number is positive. Truth is, let me just tell you something. The truth is, this, if the negative is on top and you have the positive at the bottom, that's the same thing as the positive being on top and the negative at the bottom. And that's the same thing as it just being in the middle. Okay? All of them just means that the entire entity is negative. So don't worry if you see, well, Mr. Petit, the negative is only on the top, or Mr. Petit, the negative on the bottom. All of that is just saying that the number itself is negative. Because dividing by a negative will always give you a negative. Okay, so please do not be confused by the negative being on the top or at the bottom. All that means is that the entire thing is negative. So negative 4 over 3 equals negative 4 over 3. Like that's what it equals. Okay? Because if you say negative 4 divided by 3, it gives you a negative number. So once one number is negative, either the top number or the bottom number, once one number is negative, both are negative. Right? Like the whole quantity is negative. That's what I should say. If one number, either the top number or the bottom number is negative, the entire quantity is negative. Okay? So that means that if we have a negative on the top number or the bottom number, that means the whole slope is negative. So you don't have to worry about, oh, is it positive, is it negative? If one number is negative, the whole slope is negative. And so here, do we have a positive slope or negative slope?
We have a
Negative.
negative.
We have a negative slope, okay? And we have a negative slope because clearly this is negative 4 over 3. And so what that means is that the graph is going to look something like this. It's going to be descending. It's going to be
Descending.
going down. It's going to be descending. Now think to yourself, in order to descend, right? In order to descend, you must go down and then to the right. Okay? In order to descend. So you must go down and then to the right. And so that's how we're going to work it. Okay? That's how we're gonna work it. So the 4 on top is gonna tell us to go down, right? And then the 3 at the bottom is gonna tell us to go to the right.
Mr. Petit, quick question. Why are we not going left?
Say it again.
Why don't we go left?
Why aren't you going
Why
left?
don't we go left? Okay. For us to We can go left, but for simplicity's sake, I just say go to the right. Okay? If I tell you that we could go to the left, then I have to introduce a whole another technique to show you how you could go to the left. Because if you go to the left, then that means that you have to go upwards. If that makes any sense.
Okay.
You understand
I
what I'm saying?
understand.
So,
Sure, no problem.
like, if we go to the left, then we have to go up. You see? But if we go down, then we must go to the right. You see what I'm saying? And I don't want to have to always explain that, let's just say that if we have negatives, we go down and to the right. You understand what I'm saying? So we'll just keep that algorithm just for this sake. Okay? You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. I got you.
I can
Yes,
barely
sir.
hear you, Nancy.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I said yes, I got you.
Okay. So again, like I said, because we have a negative and we know we're going down, we know that we're descending. That means that we are definitely going down and to the right. Okay? So every time you have a negative, right? Every time you have a negative, make sure go down and then to the right. Okay? Alright, so let me allow okay, so sorry, I'm gonna have to delete this and then I'm gonna write it again. Okay, so alright, so okay, so yeah, so let's do this. Sorry, my apologies. Price. Okay. Okay, so again the slope is negative 4 over 3. And the negative means I shouldn't say that, but because we have a negative slope, we know that we're gonna go 4 times how?
Downward.
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 Okay. And because the slope is negative, we know that we're still gonna go 3 times
To the right.
to the right. So the only thing that changes between having a negative slope and a positive slope is that instead of going upwards, you go downwards, but you will always go to the right. Okay. Can you all hear me?
We can hear you.
Is my
Yes, sir.
screen being shared?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So that means that this person has an issue with their laptop. Okay. So, but where are we gonna start though? We're gonna start with our y-intercept, right?
So
Yes.
Okay. What's our y-intercept?
positive
Positive
one.
one.
Positive 1. Very good.
One.
Positive 1. And so let's do that. So this is going to be, let's start at our y-intercepts. It's going to be positive 1. All right. And then what's the next thing? We are going to move 4 times downward. So let's do that. There's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Then we're going to move 3 times to the right. And so this is going to be 1, 2, and 3. And so that means that the next point that's on our graph is going to be 3, negative 3. It's going to be right here. And how much points do we need in order to graph a line?
2
points.
Just 2 points. Okay. Now these arrows that I drew, you don't have to draw them in the exam, but in your notes you could put them now. But in the exam you don't have to put them there. They are not necessary. Okay, so let's draw a line that passes through those 2 points. Alright, so draw a line that passes through these 2 points. Make sure that it goes somewhat in the middle of the 2 points. Alright. Okay, good. This is good enough. I'm gonna make sure I color it red, give it some weight. Should be good, and let me extend it some more. Alright, good. And so the last thing that we're gonna do here is we just simply gonna label our graph. Let me use this to label it. So let's make this smaller. So I could put this labeling multiple places. I could put it here. This will be fine. I could put it here. This would be fine. I could put it here. This would be fine. Would it be a good idea to put it here?
No.
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 I don't put it there. No. Okay. So you want to put it close to the graph. So somewhere here is good. Okay, now my favorite part. Please send the photos. Let me see them. Oh, let me like these.
This to make a line, you say you only need 2 points, right?
You only need 2 points. Yeah.
So that means the slope could also be a whole number, right?
The slope could be a whole. Say it again.
Could the slope also be a whole number? Does it have to be a fraction?
No, it doesn't have to be a fraction. We could do an example where the slope is not a fraction. But remember, a whole number can always be expressed as a fraction. Right? Just put it over 1. Alright, thank you, Dahelia. Sorry, I hope I spelled it Daniela Rule. Thank you for sending it in. Alright. Jaden, thank you. Wholeness, thank you. Alright. Very good, Alicia. Some people are actually using rulers. That's good. That's good. Alright, make sure you use a ruler. Alright. Okay. Very good for those persons who are sending it in. Thank you so much. Lionel. Wow, Lionel. Lionel, you feel good today. Alright, Lionel sending is working. Ashanet. Very good. Thank you all for sending them in. For the most part, they are pretty good. They're pretty good. Zaria, I like it. Alright, so good. So let's do another one with negative. Any questions before I move on? Are we getting it?
We getting it.
We getting it? Okay, that's good. Alright, so moving on. Okay, so let's say for example we had something again easy, but this it's gonna still be a negative. Let's say we had negative 2 over, let's say 3, and let's say we starting at negative 1. Start at negative 2. Yeah, we could start at negative 2. Okay, so let's draft this. So we should be experts by now. We know that the slope is
Negative 2 over 3.
very good. The slope is negative 2 over 3. All right, and that's because the negative 2 over 3 is in front of the x.
Yeah.
This 2, this negative 2, means that we are going to move what?
Descend downward.
Very good. Move 2 times
Downward.
downward. All right. Okay, finish up the rest of it. Try to do as much as possible on your own. Give me one moment, please. Hello? Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so, and this positive 3, this 3 at the bottom, um, tells us that we move what? 3 times, how?
To the right.
To the right, very good. 3 times to the right. So the slope is very important, okay? The slope is very important when it comes to graphing, all right? We need to have a proper understanding of what the slope does, right? Because it's very important when it comes to graphing these stuff. And also the y-intercept. That's why we spent a lot of time last class really seeking to understand what is the slope and what is the y-intercept. Because when we start graphing, those ideas become very important, as we can see here, right? So the next thing is our y-intercept. The y-intercept is definitely negative 2. Okay, so
Negative 2.
y-intercept is going to be negative 2. Okay, and so what we're going to do is we're going to first start off by graphing our negative 2. So we're going to plot that out on our y-axis. All right here. And so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to move 2 times downward. Okay, so move 2 times downward. 1, 2. We're going to move 3 times to the right. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and so we're going to place another point here.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
Can I use the bathroom, please?
Sure, definitely. Sure, definitely. Okay. Wow, Zaria already sent this one. Very good, Zaria. Okay, good. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is draw a line that passes through both of these points. Again, we only need 2 points to draw a line. And so this is going to be ascend. Let's just draw a line that goes straight through it, through this. Very good, right there. Okay. Okay, so let me increase the weight on this. Great. Okay, good. And so now the next thing we need to do, seeing that we have already connected those 2 points with a line, is we simply going to label our line. Sorry. Now, remember the labeling for our line goes in a spot that is appropriate. So we could put it here. Okay. We could put it here. Here is fine. We could even put it here. We could put it here. Or we could put it here. Okay. We don't want to have it out here. We don't want to have it. Definitely don't want to have it out there. Okay. So let's place it, say, place it here. Okay. Nice and clear. So we know exactly what we're dealing with. Alright, so this is how we would graph positive lines with positive slope and lines with negative slope. Okay. Any questions for me about how to do this?
Mr. Petit, I have a question.
No, sir.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, but like, okay, when do we apply this? So like, I understand that we're working on it, but like, what question would this like pop up on? So I'll kind of
Okay.
know.
Alright, so for the exams, they ask you, they would say, graph the line of, like how we have here. Where are we? Like how we have here, it says sketch the graph of each line. So in your exam, they'll actually ask you and I've seen it before, they just ask you to draw the graph of the linear equation. Okay. And so you would have to know how to graph it out properly. Now sometimes, what they would do, especially for BGCSE paper 2, what they do is they would, or paper 3, what they would do is they would say, they would let you draw one graph first. Say they will let you draw, say, they'll say, okay, we have this graph, and then they'll let you first draw a parabola. When you finish drawing a parabola, they'd say, now draw a line that cuts through the parabola. So you draw a line that cuts through the parabola. They'll tell you, say, the line y equals to 3x plus 5 or something like that. And then what they'll say is, they'll say, tell us where the points of intersection is. Okay. So that's how you would see it on your exam.
Okay, and one more question, right? So when you have a whole number, when you put it over 1, that would mean that you're going.
Let's do one. Let's do an example.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do an example. So this is a good one, but I don't want to use a negative just yet. Let's see if we have a good one. Something nice. Okay, let's do this one. Y equals 2x plus 5. Okay. So you want to graph the line y equals 2x plus 5. And here, our slope is a positive number. So the question is, what do we do in the case when our slope is a positive number? A positive whole number, that is.
Put
Okay,
it
so the
over
same
1.
thing. Go ahead.
You put it over 1?
Yeah, that's all. So the same thing applies. So again, The slope is the number in front of the x. So our slope is going to be equal to 2 over 1, because 2 is the same thing as 2 over 1. And then everything else follows the same way. This 2 means that we're going to do what? What does that mean?
Go
Go up
upward
twice.
Very good. So we
twice.
move.
Up twice.
Very good. 2 times upward. And of course, the 1 means that we
Move to the
move
right. To the right.
once.
One.
Yes. Once to the right. Okay. And so what that means is that so we're gonna move 2 times upward, and then we're gonna move to the right once. And then the 5, which is our y-intercept, is gonna be positive 5. And so that means that we start at positive 5. Why did they give us this graph? Okay, let me see something. Our grid is too small. Our grid is too small. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna extend the grid, because if we move in 2 times to the right, I mean upward, and we need to extend the grid 1 more. All right.
So we adding 7.
Yeah, we needed the 7. All right, so again, we start at positive 5. That's our y-intercept, and we have to move 2 times 2 times upward. So that's gonna be, excuse me, 1, 2, and then once to the right. So it's gonna be right here, once. And so this is our point right here. So we need to draw a line that cuts straight through these 2 points. Remember that our graph is positive, so we know that we're climbing. So the line that cuts through this point is these 2. Sorry, it's this line. And we shape it in, give it a weight. And so there you have it. That's our line, y equals 2x plus 5.
Excuse me, Mr. Petit. I have a question
Go
regarding
ahead.
the graph.
Go ahead.
So how you extend the graph to 7? Would
Mm-hmm.
you have to extend it on both the y and the x axis?
We have to extend it on both the y and the x axis. No, no, no. Just on the x.
So just
Yeah.
on the y section
Sorry,
then?
just on the y axis, sorry. Just on the
Okay,
y axis.
thanks.
We only did that so that we could be able to move twice upward.
So in any case, like for instance, if we have that on the exam, would we be allowed to do that, or
Okay, in the exam, they won't their
they
graphs are
won't have
used.
any numbered?
They won't have their graph. You see, we got this question from a worksheet. So the worksheet,
Okay,
yeah. So, but in your exam, they would be nice and easy. They would be nice um, and the numbering that they give you would be good enough. You understand what I'm saying?
okay, thank you so much.
I got a question.
What's the name of the person who was asking that question?
This is Shaquindo.
Shaquin. Okay, all right, all right.
Yeah, I had a question on the labeling of it.
Yes.
You see how we had to change it to the y equals 2 over 1x?
Yeah.
So do we label it with the 2 over 1 or just leave it back
Label
with
it.
2?
Just label it 2. Don't do 2 over 1. Okay. All right. Thank you for the questions. Um. Okay. So that's it. That's pretty much it when it comes to that. There are other sneaky ones, and I'm gonna show you the other sneaky ones right now. That may look confusing to you all. So let's look at the easy ones. We already know how to graph something like this, how to graph something like this. But this one might be confusing to you all. You might say, well, Mr. Petit, what to do in this case? So I'm going to look at something like this. If we just have y equals to a number, okay? Um, for those persons who were here last semester, you should know how to do this because we did this extensively with multiple numbers. I don't know if y'all can remember, but who was here last year? Nancy, Cooper, remember how to do something like this?
Would it be y equals
Yeah, based
um
off memory.
zero times 0x? I thought it
Yeah.
was zero.
No, I mean last class. I mean last year where we draw this line. So every time you have y equals to a number, so let me just make a note of that. So every time you have what happened? I spelled that wrong. Oh, every time. Every time you have y equals to just a number. Okay. Please take these notes down for those persons who are just joining us. I want you to send the notes that I put on the screen to my phone after class. So please take good diligent notes, okay? So every time you have y equals to just a number, this means, right, that you would be drawing a horizontal line. Now a horizontal line, does that go from top to bottom or from left to right?
Left to right.
All right, which passes. So you're going to draw a horizontal line which passes through that number on the x-axis. So let me tell you what I mean. So this is let me see if we could fix this properly. Sorry, I'm gonna give you opportunity to see it again one more. Sorry, let me. So again, every time you have y equals to just a number, this means that you'll be drawing a horizontal line. Remember that horizontal line goes from left to right. Okay. So you'll be drawing a horizontal line which passes through that number on the x-axis. So what do we mean? So we have y equals to -5, right? All that means is that we're going to draw a horizontal line, a line that goes from left to right. But it must pass through what? -5. Okay? And so there you have it. Very simple, right? Right? Or it's difficult.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so then we're going to label the line. But Miss Cooper, you don't remember this?
No, I don't think so.
I can't hear you.
I don't think so.
I could barely hear you.
I don't think so.
No? Wow. That Christmas break did something, boy. Alright, so this is y equals to negative 5. What if I say y equals to, let's say, negative 2? How would we draw that?
Going through -2, a straight line going across.
Very good. So it's going to be a horizontal line going through negative 2. So let's color this one. Let's color this one, say, in baby blue. What if I say y equals to positive 3? What would that be?
Put a line straight through the 3 and negative 3.
Very good. Line right through 3. Horizontal line through P, through 3 rather. This is y equals to positive what, 3? And this is going to be a red line. Oh no, let's do purple. Okay. And then finally, what if I say y equals to 5? It's gonna be this one.
Put a straight line through the 5.
Horizontal line through 5.
Let's see what the.
Mm-hmm.
Never mind.
Alright, so it's going to be let's see, I just use this one. I want to see this one. I want to see how y'all draw this one. So send me a picture of this one. Y equals to 5. Let me see a picture of this one. So these are very simple. All these are oh sorry, I made a mistake here. All these are is horizontal lines. Alright? Horizontal lines, left or right, that goes through the x-axis of that number. Okay? So that's all.
What do you mean by x-axis?
Okay, x-axis is the, why did I say, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Very good correction. There's only one x-axis. What I meant to say is that the, not x-axis, but the horizontal line that goes from left to right through that number. So these lines, I really shouldn't say x-axis, I should say x direction. That's the better way to say it. X direction. Okay. So y direction is up and down. X direction is left and right. Okay. So when we say that we have y equals to -5, that means that we're going to draw a line that goes from left to right through -5. Okay. In the x direction from left to right. Okay. And so similarly, if we say y equals to this is -5, this is -2. If we say y equals to -2, what that means is that we're going to draw a horizontal line, a line that goes from left to right through -2, okay, in the x direction. And then if we say y equals to 3, that means that we're going to draw a line through 3, right? Horizontal line through 3, right, in the x direction. And if we are saying y equals to +5, we are going to draw a horizontal line through 5 in the x direction. That means from left to right. Any questions for me?
No, sir.
No? Are we clear on this?
Sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so, and they could easily ask you this, especially for BJC people. They like to ask stuff like this. Okay, so be prepared to know how to draw something like this. My BJC people, BGCSE people,
Actually, I do have one question.
go ahead.
So the line have to reach the end of the graph.
Oh, very good question. It just looks bad if it reaches to the edge. But no, it doesn't have to reach to the edge. All right. I would advise you to always hit it from end to end, right? But it doesn't have to. Once it is clear that it's a line. So say for example, I drew this, say, right here and right here, right? Okay. That would still be right. Okay. Or say for example, I did it from here to here. That would still be right. If you drew it like this, I wouldn't advise you to do it like this though. It just doesn't look good. And we don't usually do it like that. But it's not wrong in the wrong sense, especially if you put arrows on the edge of these things. Okay, because it is a line. So by right, it should have arrows extending, because lines never end. Okay, but this is totally fine. The others are totally fine as well. But me personally, I like to, hit it from end to end. And you usually see it from end to end, covering the entire graph. Okay, so let me show you what I mean. If we look at the answers, right? You notice that the answers usually hit from end to end. They take up the whole entire graph space. You see what I'm saying, Mr. Floyd?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So make sure to use up the graph space. Okay, so these are the answers to these things. Before we actually consider all the answers, I want us to look at something, say, like this. This is a very good one to look at. Something like this and something like this. So let's look first of all at something like this, and then we're gonna look at something like this. Okay, so and then after that, I think we'll be really good with linear equations, okay, and graphing them. So something like this could confuse students. They'll be like, what in the world is happening here? But if you was paying keen attention to what we did last class, you would be able to understand what's happening in this case.
Excuse me, I was in here last class.
You was in there last class. Okay, then this information is new to you. But that's fine. It's not hard to follow along. You have any questions based on what we are doing now? Is it clear or?
No, it's pretty clear.
Okay, it's pretty clear. That's good. What's the name again? This is Abraham?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. I like that you're asking a lot of questions. That's good. Alright, so y equals to 5 over 3x. This is interesting. We did something like this. What is the slope for this question?
5
5
over
over
5
3.
over 3.
5 over 3, very good, because it's in front of the x. It's 5 over 3. Uh-huh. Now the question of it all, right? What is the y-intercept?
0.
Who said that?
0.
Lachey.
Okay, alright. So we have brainiacs here. It is 0. But where is the 0 though? I mean, I don't see 0.
Could it be in the center?
In the center, in the middle.
No, it's right there. Plus 0. Okay.
It's behind
So,
the X.
so even though they don't put the 0, it's there. Okay. And so
is it like in the center?
say it again.
So is it in the center?
In terms of the graph, yes, it is the origin. Okay. So the y-intercept is 0. And so that means that the first point that we're going to draw is this point. Our
Wait, Mr.
y-intercept.
Petit.
Yes, ma'am.
So it always supposed to be something in the back of the x-axis.
Yes, it always supposed to be something in front in the back of it. Sorry. Okay.
So if ain't nothing there, you just automatically know it's 0.
Yeah, you automatically know it's 0.
Okay.
I know this is a silly question, right? But the 0 gotta be positive.
It doesn't matter. Negative 0 and positive 0 is still it's still the same thing. because it's nothing there. Nothing there. You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter. Okay, so y goes to so the y-intercept is 0, and then so from there we know that we are going to go. This number tells us that we go 5 times up. So we know we're going to go 5 times up, and the 3 tells us that we're going to go 3 times to the right. Okay, and so let's do this quickly.
Excuse me, Mr. T.
Yes,
I need a
ma'am.
minute to take the bathroom a minute, please.
Okay, sure, that's no problem. And so this is gonna be.
Mr. Petit,
Go ahead.
how you know? Like you see how you say 5 times up?
Yes.
How you know? Like how it to go 5 times up or 5 times across?
How do I know to go 5 times up or 5 times
Across.
across? Okay, if it's on the top, then you know it's upwards. Okay, so if it's to the top, you know
So
it
the
only
top
could
is
be.
always upwards.
Yeah, the top is always upward unless you're dealing with a negative slope. So if you have something like -5/3, then that'll be downwards. Okay, all right.
Okay, thank you.
So that's a very good question. She asks, how do we know which one is upward? How do we know which one is across? But the top number always tells us whether to go up or down. Okay. So, but it's a positive slope, so we know we're going upwards. And then the bottom number tells us whether to go across. Okay. But because we have a positive slope, we know we're going to the right. Okay. So that's how we know. So very good question. And so, all right. So that means that we're gonna go 5 times up. So this is gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we're gonna go 3 times to the right. It's gonna be 1, 2, 3. And so it's gonna be our point right here. All right. So we have 2 points. We know that 2 points make up a graph. And so we're gonna draw a line that cuts through those 2 points. Okay, very good. All the way as long as possible. And there we have it. And then so we're gonna put some weight on it. Good. Last but not least, we're gonna label our graph. And we wanna label it in a way that that is clear. Okay, so we wanna label it. We can label it here. So y equals to 5/3 x. Okay. Do not put +0. You don't need that.
So if you put +0, you would get a mark off.
It's not wrong. It's just not necessary.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So in all cases, right, we will always go to the right. Like we're never going to the left.
No, we're never
Right?
going to the left. In all cases, we go to the right.
Okay.
Yeah. If it's positive or negative, the positive or negative just tells us whether to go up or down. Very good for those persons who are signing. These are some very good um graphs I'm seeing. Okay. Okay, so the last type of question that we'll be doing for these ones is gonna be this one. Something like this. Okay. So if they give you something like this, and for both subjects, both exams, BJC and BGCSE, they like to do stuff like this. The x equals 2. So the question is, what do you do in something in a case like this? Okay. All right. All right. So let's see. I'm so sorry. Okay. So here we have x equals to 0 actually. Interesting that they chose that.
This is the T. This is
Go
the
on.
last card we're doing or no?
No. It's only 7:36. It's not the last. It's not the last graph. All right.
We go until 9, right?
Yeah, we go until 9, but we'll switch over to English at 8 o'clock. All right. Okay, so when we have x equals to 0, it's kind of the same idea with this, right? But it's different. It's different in one way, only in direction. Okay. So let me copy this and put it there. So every time you have x equals to just a number, this means that you would be drawing a. You think it's still gonna be horizontal line?
No.
So a
It's gonna
vertical.
be a what?
Vertical.
Vertical.
Vertical. Very good. So a vertical line. Now vertical line means what?
Going upward to downward.
Up
Yeah,
and
very good.
down.
Up and down, which passes through the number
Top to bottom.
in the y direction. Okay. All right. So again, whenever you have x equals to a number, this means that you would be drawing a vertical line. That means up and down, which passes through the number in the y direction. Okay. Okay. So let's explain what we mean. So here we have x equals to 0, and so that means that we're going to get a line and draw it straight through x equals to 0, straight through the 0 mark. Now you might not see, you can't see the 0 mark. Let me label it for you first. If this is -1, this is 0, then this is 1. So let me put the 0 in for you because they don't show it on this graph. So 0 is right here. Okay, 0 is at the origin, that's the middle. Okay, so you're going to draw a line that passes through 0. Okay, so let's draw a line that passes through 0. And in fact, the line that passes through 0 is indeed the y-axis itself. And that's why the y-axis is also called the line x equals to 0. Okay, so basically another way of asking this question is simply to say draw the y-axis. All right, because the y-axis passes straight through the origin when we go up and down. So there we have it. This is the line that they wanted us to draw straight through um, 0 in the vertical direction, in the y direction. Let's do another one. So first let's
So if you
label
flip
this.
this, so if you flip the switch, y equals 0 would be the x-axis.
You bet that right. That's correct. So x equals 0 is right here. Let me do it smaller because I'm gonna need some space. And I want to see this one, just like how we saw the other one. I want to see this one. What if we have now? What if we have, say, x equals to? What if I say draw the line x equals to 3? Okay, what would that be?
Draw straight down to the tree.
Very good. Going straight down, cutting through 3. So we're gonna go right here, and that's it right there. We're gonna
Excuse
color it.
me.
Go ahead.
You said you were talking about some graph paper earlier, or something along the lines of that.
Yes, sir.
How is it available in any stores?
Yes, you could
Like
get it from Pindersmart. Pindersmart, you know, the bookstore by Town Center Mall.
Yeah, I know that place.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
graph paper, is that what it's called?
Yeah, ask them for a graph paper or a graph book, and they'll give you
So
it.
I'm guessing it comes with a graph in it already.
Yeah, definitely. They give you a lot of graph paper in it,
Okay, thank you.
and that would save you from having to draw this a million times.
Good.
Good. Yeah. All right. Okay. So what if I say x equals to -2? Where would that go?
Straight down
Straight down.
To the negative.
to
Through
the
the two.
to the two to the -2.
Very good. Through -2. Very good. So straight down through -2. Give me one moment. I'm trying to fix this properly. And then we're going to do that one. I'm just trying to resize it so that it wouldn't be over the graph. Alright, so we want to draw it. This is going to be straight through -2. And we're going to label it here. So this is the graph x equals to -2. And this is, let's say, do green. Alright, so x equals to 0, x equals to negative, x equals to +3, and x equals to -2. Alright? Alright, send them in. Let me see the pictures of them.
So
Go ahead.
these ain't lines then,
These are also lines.
because I thought lines are the formula.
Alright, how could we
That
put
don't
it?
meet the formula.
It don't meet the formula. How could we put it? So that makes sense to you. Um okay. I'm trying to find a way to explain it such that it makes sense. Um Here, let me look at this.
Spoiler, it don't make no sense.
Say it again.
I say spoiler, it doesn't make sense.
uh what I mean is for this kind of line, okay, like say for example, if I ask you in this case, right? Not in this case. If I ask you in this case, right? What is the slope? What would you tell me?
5.
The slope.
Looks
Will be
-5.
Zero?
The
I
slope is
guess
0.
it'd be
Right?
fall.
The slope is 0 because it doesn't have a it doesn't have an incline, right? It's just flat. All right. Here, um when we come to something like this, um we say that this is gonna be interesting, fam. We say that the slope is undefined. All right. Um, and the reason for that is because, all right. Oh my, you really want me to explain it properly, like fully, or you could?
I mean, I get it, but I just saying like, how does this fit into the formula?
How does it fit into the formula y equals mx plus b? Okay, let's see. So we have the formula y equals to mx plus b. we don't have no, if we look for, let's say for example, x equals to negative 2, if we look for where this graph crosses the y-axis, it doesn't. No, it doesn't cross the y-axis. And if we try to look for a slope, it's no slope because the slope is undefined. So it doesn't fit into it doesn't fit into the doesn't fit into the form y equals mx plus b. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
So does that mean that there's more than one formula for a straight line?
There are, it doesn't fit into slope intercept form. There are other forms, standard form. Standard form is another way that we could represent a line. And slope intercept form. And there's also another point slope intercept form. So there are other ways that we could express a line. Let me see something. Let me see if it. Let
Excuse
me
me,
see.
Mr. Isaac.
Yes, sir.
Uh, when you say formula, you mean like the like x equals to etc. or like the slope or you? I don't know how to explain it. Like the equation.
Yes.
Oh, so that's what it means when you say formula, right?
Yeah, when I say formula, I mean equation. That's all I mean.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I mean. That's when I say formula. All I mean is equation. Let's see. I don't think it fits, but let's see. Does x equals to a constant fit into we say is a line. Let's see if they call it a linear function. Horizontal line. I'll have to think about it. Give me some time. Tomorrow's class I should have answered, Mr. Ford.
All right, no problem.
Yeah. But here clearly we do not have a slope and we do not have a y-intercept for these stuff. So I don't see how it fit into it. I don't see how it fit into this general form. If perchance we could make it fit into the general form, if perchance we could do that, then it would be considered a linear equation. As for now, I cannot think how we could transform it into this because m is undefined, m is non-existent for this case. And the reason why m is undefined is because we'll be dividing by 0. We do not have a y-intercept. All we have is a value for y. And so if x is 0, if we take x, but I'll have to think about it. Give me till tomorrow. Okay, so alright. But the basic thing we should know. If we have x equals to a number, then what that means is that all we need to do is draw a vertical line passing through that number. Okay, x equals to a number. All that means is drawing a vertical line passing through that number. So I think we've covered all our bases for these particular type of questions. We know how to express it if we have x equals to a number. We know how to express it if we do not have a y-intercept. We know the answer if we just have y equals to just a number. Okay. We know how to do it if we have a good old general form, slope intercept form. We know how to graph something like this. We know how to graph it when we just have a whole number as our slope. Okay. So we basically covered all the bases for these type of stuff. Any questions for me with these?
No, sir.
No?
No, sir.
Okay. Alright. So the next type, do we have time for one more of those? Okay, the next type of things that they like to put, particularly for BGCSE, they like to I don't know if we have enough time to really graph this one. Let's see, 751. I'm not gonna push it. But the next time we meet, I'm gonna show you how to do something like this, right? Wherein, and this one is nice, this one is good, because what they do is that they give you a table, and you have to fill in the table, okay? In the exam, sometimes they give you certain numbers, right? First, and then they tell you, okay, fill out the rest, okay? And after you finish filling out the table, then you're gonna use the points on the table to plot out your graph. And so the next time that we come, which is tomorrow, we're gonna do questions like these, whereby we have to, actually figure out what our numbers should be, and then plot it on the graph, and then draw the line. All right. So with that being said, I'm gonna end math right here. Any more questions? Any questions before we move on to language?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, good. All right. So we started language about 8 minutes early. All right. So let's
Mr.
begin.
Petit,
Yes, ma'am.
I was asking if y'all only was doing graphing.
Yeah, we always doing graphing today. We didn't really get into nothing deep. Only graphing today. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so I'm gonna head up. Okay, language. All right, so we've covered pretty much a lot, in my opinion, in language. The first time we looked in that language, we was talking about sentence fragments, and we covered how to recognize a sentence fragment and all those good stuff. The very last time we was doing language, we was dealing with we was dealing with how to identify run-on sentences, and we talk about different types of run-on sentences, and we talk about how to fix them. Right? You fix them with a semicolon, fix them by inserting a punctuation, and all those good stuff. All right. Now today, let me head up properly. Today we're going to be looking at phrases and clauses. Okay, phrases and clauses. So tonight it's not Tuesday, it's Monday. Monday the 17th of January. Please take good notes of these, and then once we're done, I want you to send the notes to me via WhatsApp, okay? So it is Monday the 17th of January, 2022. The subject that we're dealing with is, of course, English language. And the topic for today is phrases and clauses. Okay, so we begin first with a definition. So we're gonna the first portion, really extensively, we're gonna be breaking down what are phrases. That's the first part of the lesson. What are phrases and what the different types of phrases and stuff like that. And then the second portion, we're gonna really talk about clauses. So first phrases, then clauses. Okay, so what is a phrase? That's the first question. Anyone have any idea? What is a phrase in your understanding?
A type, mm, maybe a phrase. I guess a phrase can be
A small
like
group of
put
words.
in different ways.
A small group of
Group of
words, I
words.
heard. Uh-huh. So, what you said, Mr. Abraham?
No, you said like to me, so I thought like I don't. To me, a phrase can be anything, like a metaphor or like a simile or some type of sentence in general.
So a phrase is a sentence in general.
I
You
think
have,
it's
I guess you could say.
a
you
sentence,
think it's a
like
sentence? Okay.
A phrase.
a shorter version of a sentence. Like you want to express
A
everything
short,
in it.
detailed
A
sentence.
short, detailed sentence, and someone is
Short
saying
sentence.
Okay, a
I
short
think it's an
sentence.
incomplete sentence that states an idea, like 3 words. It's
Okay,
just
it's an
like
incomplete sentence that states an idea. Okay. All
You
right.
also could use as a short sentence as well.
Okay, a short sentence. Okay. All right. Some of you are right and some of you are not right. Okay. A key to understand, sorry, a key point to understand about a phrase is that a phrase, first of all, is a group of words. Okay. So it's a group of words, listen very carefully, without a subject. Okay. And verb. Right. That functions in a sentence as one part of speech. Now, if we are trying to write a complete thought, right? If we're trying to write a complete thought, if we're trying to write a complete idea, we should not use phrases, right? A phrase is not a standalone, okay? A phrase does not stand alone. It must be, notice that they said that it functions in a sentence. It is itself not a sentence, right? But it functions in a sentence, okay? As one part of speech, okay? So, for example, leaving behind the dog, okay? Leaving behind the dog, right? It's still, it's really, it's not, that's not a complete sentence, right?
No, sir.
No, it's not a complete
Not a complete
sentence.
sentence because, why isn't it a complete sentence? Let me ask you all before I tell you.
It doesn't have a verb.
It is obvious.
Because we don't have a
I know a
complete idea,
scripture.
right? So the question is, okay, leaving behind the dog. Leaving behind the dog. Where are you gonna leave behind the dog? Where you know,
Where, when?
yeah. Why are we leaving behind the dog? Like, it's not a complete thought. We still have questions, right? We're still trying to figure out,
Not enough understanding.
you know what I mean? Still some stuff missing. All right. So next thing, say smashing into a fence, right? Um, That's a phrase, okay? It's missing some parts, all right? So the question is, who smashed, right, into the fence? You know, um,
Why?
why is that the case? Like, we still have some missing parts, okay? And another phrase is before the first test. Before the first test. So, important thing is a phrase is not a sentence, right? It doesn't express a It doesn't express a complete thought. It's not a sentence. Okay? But it could be a part of a sentence, right? But it is a
Someone
part
might.
of a sentence, right? So phrase is not a sentence in itself, but it's a part of a sentence. Okay? Alright, moving right along. Let me know when I could continue.
You can continue.
Okay, I can continue. Alright, so common types. So we're gonna look at common types of phrases. Now, the first type of phrase that we're going to be looking at is what we call a prepositional phrase. Now, these phrases, they contain a preposition and a noun or pronoun called the object of the preposition. So a prepositional phrase contains a preposition. It also contains a noun or pronoun, which we call the object of the preposition. So some examples of this would be on. Let's say we have on the freshly pressed white jacket. On the freshly pressed white jacket. So on is the preposition, right? And the object of the preposition. We're talking about the,
Okay.
say it again, white jacket.
The white jacket.
The white jacket, yeah.
Can you scroll real quick, please?
Scroll back up.
Yeah. Scroll some more, please.
Scroll some more.
I get that piece. You go back down now.
I go back down? Okay. Alright, so are we all good? Can I continue?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Alright, so again, on is the preposition. Alright. And white jacket, remember when it comes to nouns, a noun is a person, finish it for me, place, animal, or thing.
Or idea.
Right? So man, girl, Steve, grandma, grandpa, Paris, city, school, home, Asia, kitchen, all these are examples of nouns.
A noun.
Right? Dog, cat, whale, lion, bee, bull, lizard. These are examples of noun. Things, a book, a pencil, a flower, a jacket, disease, a shoe, a cap. These are examples of nouns. And so a noun is a person, a place, animal, thing, or idea. And so when it comes to these prepositional phrases, it's going to contain a preposition and it's going to contain a noun or pronoun that we're going to call the object of the preposition. Okay, so here on is the preposition and white jacket is the object of the preposition. So let's make that very clear. So on is the preposition. Sorry for those people. You can write this on top of it if you already wrote it already. But on is the preposition and then white jacket is the object of the preposition. So that's the first example. So again, this is not a complete sentence. On the freshly pressed white jacket. What is on the freshly pressed white jacket? Why is it there? We still have missing parts of this idea, so it's not a sentence. It's a phrase. Okay. We in order to make it a sentence, how could we fix it? If we wanted to make it a sentence.
On the freshly pressed white jacket, because we're going out.
How about saying who is on the freshly pressed white jacket? And we can say my friend is on, or you can say my dog is on, or you can say Jason is on.
I thought we were.
Because here we need, go ahead. Okay, let's ask the question. So adding who is on the freshly pressed white jacket really is going to make it a sentence easily. Okay. All right. So the next thing that we're looking at. All right. We're looking at the next example of this. The next example of prepositional phrases. Remember we said that there are different types of prepositional phrases. Different types of phrases. One of them is the prepositional phrase. And the prepositional phrase, that's going to be the one that contains a preposition, and it also contains a noun or pronoun. And the noun or pronoun is called the object of the preposition. In this example, on is the preposition, and the freshly pressed white jacket is definitely the object of the preposition. Okay, so next up we have beside the driftwood and seaweed. Okay, so what is the preposition?
Beside.
Beside. Very good. What is the object of the preposition?
The driftwood or seaweed.
Very good. The driftwood and seaweed. So the driftwood and the seaweed is the object of the preposition. Okay. So preposition. Yes, ma'am.
So the preposition always have to be at the front of the sentence, at the beginning of the sentence.
No. Remember that these are not sentences. These are phrases.
Phrases.
Yeah. So you're asking if the preposition is always going to be in front. No, prepositions don't always have to be in front. No, they don't always have to be in front. There's actually lists of prepositions. In fact, let's look at it. Let me show you what I mean. You could easily identify prepositions. There's a list of them. So.
By the way, excuse me.
Go ahead.
Do prepositions in general are always phrases?
No. No. Let me show you. Okay, prepositions are just words. So about, above, according to, across, these type of stuff. Because of, before, behind, below, beneath, by, stuff like this. Stuff like these are what we call prepositions. Okay.
I need to remember what the meaning of preposition even is.
So we have in time. So these are different examples of prepositions. And so when it comes to our examples here, I just showing you a preposition inside a prepositional phrase. That's all I'm showing you. Okay.
Wait, you said prepositional, so does that mean there's other like phrases?
Say it again.
You said prepositional, so are there other phrases?
Yeah, there are other types. So the first type that we're looking at is prepositional phrases. Then we're gonna move on to the next type.
Wait, can I make a guess?
Uh-huh.
I feel like we're gonna go on to talk about metaphorical phrases or something on the lines here.
No. No.
Ah well, I tried.
You tried. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. So this is the object of the preposition. Driftwood and seaweed as object of the preposition. Okay, moving right along. So we're gonna really define what we mean by prepositional phrases. So let's talk about them. So what do they do? Okay. So prepositional phrases, they modify adjectives or adverbs and are either called adjective phrases or adverb phrases. Okay, so this is very important. We break down prepositional phrases into these categories. Okay. The prepositional phrase is either going to be an adjective phrase or it's going to be an adverb phrase. Okay. Now, adjective phrase. What do you mean by adjective phrase? An adjective phrase is, remember, we have two different types of prepositional phrases: adjective phrase or adverb phrases. Give me one moment. Someone's at the door. Come in. So an adverb phrase, sorry, it's gonna be, it's still a prepositional phrase. So it's still a prepositional phrase. So it's still gonna have a preposition with the object of the preposition. So it's still a prepositional phrase. But it's one that modifies a noun or pronoun by telling, listen to this part now, by telling what kind or which one. Okay, so this is a prepositional phrase. It's going to modify a noun pronoun by telling us what kind or which one. Okay, so let's look at an example. So these are examples of adjective phrases. Now, is an adjective phrase a prepositional phrase?
No.
No. Look carefully.
You just said
Yes,
yes.
it is.
It is. It is. Remember we said that we break down. Remember what we said? We said we break down our prepositional phrases. So we have prepositional phrases. We said we break that down into two parts, right? We said we break it down into adjective prepositional phrases. Adjective phrases rather. And what else? Anyone can remember?
Object of the
Say it again.
You mean the object of the thing?
No. Where are
Adverb
we?
phrases.
Adverb phrases. Y'all are here tonight or what? What's happening? You never learned this before, or this like a refresher?
I don't know any of this.
Okay, you know. Okay.
Me neither.
All right. So this is.
Honestly,
I
I
so
don't know if
far
I
gone.
remember or not.
I googling adverb and verb and then.
I
Yeah.
remember phrases and stuff like
Oh
that a little
wow.
bit, but I don't remember prepositional phrases or
Okay.
I
anything
remember
like that.
doing it in the fourth grade and I forget.
See, in the fourth grade, that's what I'm talking about. Oh boy. Um. Okay. Okay. So
Yeah, I still have to refresh with nouns, adverbs, and
yeah,
verbs.
nouns and those different
So
stuff.
to me, you going fast. I know what everyone.
I actually learned phrases this morning and I don't remember nothing.
Okay. So okay, follow me. Let's pace ourselves. Prepositional phrases. We break it down into two categories: adjective phrases and adverb phrases. Now remember what a prepositional phrase is at first though. It's simply a phrase that has a preposition and a noun or pronoun called the object of the preposition. Now, in an adjective phrase, we are going to have it's going to tell us what kind or which one for adjective phrase. Okay? So adjective phrase, it's still a prepositional phrase now, still a prepositional phrase, but this prepositional phrase, right, is going to modify the noun by telling us what kind or which one. Okay, so just better than mine. So again,
So a quick example would be.
Okay, a quick example. So you want to. So let's give a example.
Mr. Petit,
go ahead.
You going back to that slide where we was writing, or
you? Yeah, I going right back. I ain't gonna stay there. So examples. So for Tom, okay. All right, for Tom, fame is the only reason for writing. So the question is, what kind of reason? What kind of reason? It tell us. The what? The only reason. Okay? The only
for
reason.
writing.
Right? For writing. So the next one is the lamp on Tom's desk was a Christmas gift.
Just to be clear, this is the adjective phrase.
Say it again.
Is this the adjective phrase?
Yes, still adjective phrase. So this is telling us, this one is going to tell us which one. Okay, this one tells us which one. The second one though. The first one tells us what kind. The second one tells us which one. So it's going to be which one. So which lamp? The one on his desk. So prepositional phrase can be broken down into two things, adjective phrase or adverb phrase. And the adjective phrase modifies the noun by telling us what kind or which one. So for Tom, the only reason. So that's very important. Like that's very specific, right? It's telling us, okay, what kind of reason it is, right? Giving us more insight on the thing, right? On the reason. It's just not just saying reason, but it's saying what type of reason it is. It's the only reason, right? I mean, not just talking about any desk. I mean, yeah, we're not talking about any lamp, right? We're talking about a specific lamp, okay?
By the way, is all of this still prepositional phrase?
Yes, all is still a prepositional phrase, but we're using the prepositional phrase in a sentence, right? So, in truth, the prepositional phrase, right, for this one, because this is a complete thought, this is a complete idea, this is the full sentence, but only part of it is a prepositional phrase, the one where we have the preposition and we have the noun. So, on Tom's desk is the prepositional phrase. On Tom's desk. Right, that's it right there in Verity. But we just connected with the rest of the sentence. Okay. Is the only reason, that is the prepositional phrase, but we connected with the sentence, we put it inside. Okay. So it tells us, so notice that this one is this it's telling us what kind and which one. So it's given us a better glimpse into what's happening. All right. And that's what adjectives does on the whole, to be honest. They describe a noun. And so you would expect go ahead.
So you're saying is the only reason is the prepositional phrase and the reason is the adjective? phrase.
Okay, let's make this very clear. If I were to move, okay, this is this prepositional phrase inside a complete sentence. If we were to move it and put it by itself, this would be it. Okay,
The
is
prepositional phrase.
yeah is the only reason. This is the adjective the adjective phrase, and on Tom's desk.
So the highlighted one, the highlighted part is the adjective phrase.
Yeah,
Okay.
let me highlight the adjective phrase for you all. Remember, in order for us to have a prepositional phrase, we need a preposition. And if we go back to our list of prepositions, let's see here. We note that we have on, to, like, into. I'm looking for, sorry, on. Okay, yeah. On is a preposition. We saw that earlier.
Excuse me.
And the noun is the desk, right? But we're being specific. We're saying which desk we're talking about. And we're talking about Tom's desk, all right? And so when we connect
Excuse
it
me.
to an actual sentence, it's going to tell us more about the subject, all right?
So reason isn't included, like is the only reason.
Oh, sorry, I didn't highlight that part.
Excuse me. Can
Yes,
you
sir.
put it back to that preposition page? I want to screenshot it for later.
Oh, okay, no problem. I think this is a better one.
Okay. Give me a second.
Okay, so moving right along.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Okay, so let me move this. So adjective phrase is a phrase, prepositional phrase that modifies a noun or pronoun by telling us what kind or which one. So we know what kind of a reason it is. We know which lamp, right? Because these phrases tells us more. Okay? Alright? Alright, next up, the adverb phrase. These are still prepositional phrase. Adverb phrase is a prepositional phrase. So adverb phrase is a prepositional phrase that modifies. So if the adjective phrase is a prepositional phrase that modifies the noun, okay, what do you think the adverb phrase is going to be?
The verb.
Very good. A prepositional
Super.
phrase that modifies the verb. Okay. Okay. So it's a prepositional phrase that modifies a verb. It can also modify an adjective or adverb by pointing out where, when, in what manner, or to what extent. So adverb phrase is a prepositional phrase that modifies. It's going to modify by a verb. You could even modify an adjective or adverb by pointing out or telling us where, when, in what manner, or to what extent. So let's look at a prime example. And in this case, I'm going to highlight the adverb phrase. I'm going to highlight it in green again, and I'm going to put it in italics. Okay. I should also underline it so you could also see what's happening perfectly. So examples. So one thing So wanting to impress Sue, Tom planned to make reservations at an expensive restaurant.
Excuse me, can you go back up for a second? When you're done typing, not now.
Okay, go back up. Right there?
Yeah.
That's good?
That works. Thank you.
No problem. So can someone tell me what part of the sentence is the adverb phrase?
The verb.
The adverb phrase. Which part of the sentence is the adverb phrase?
An expensive restaurant.
You say what?
Oh wait, which part of that sentence?
Expensive.
An expensive restaurant. You close. You missing something?
Impressed?
No. At. Very good. At an impressive restaurant. Because remember, you need a preposition and you need a noun. So at an expensive restaurant, this is going to be our adverb phrase. Remember, our adverbs phrase tell us what? Where, right?
Yeah.
Where. So this is telling us where. So this is make reservations where. So it's telling us where it's happening. So from this prepositional phrase, from this adverb phrase, we know where we're gonna make this. He's gonna make this reservation. All right. Any questions on that?
Okay.
All right.
No, sir.
So not only does the adverb phrase tell us where, it also tells us when. So let's look at another example. It says the volcano rumbled in the early. Let me make this. Sorry. The volcano rumbled in the early morning.
In the early morning.
So which part is the preposition, the adverb phrase?
In the early morning.
In the early morning.
In the early morning. Very good. In the early morning. And that's going to tell us when the volcano rumbled.
When.
Yeah, when. All right, next up, we have, it also tells us in what manner, right? In what manner or how.
Yeah, like how they do it?
How, yeah, like how. So, Tom, let's use another example. Let's use another name because Tom getting too. Let's say Sean.
Sorry.
So Sean consumed the Sunday in short order. In short order. So what is the adverb phrase?
In short
In short order.
In short order. In short order. Why is that the adverb phrase?
Because it tells how.
It tells how or when,
Very
maybe.
Good. In what
How.
manner? Okay.
In what manner.
So when we say in short order, what do we mean? We mean fast, slow,
Fast.
In like
fast.
in a, like fast.
Yeah, like industry. So it tells us. So it tells us how we consume it. So consumed in what manner? So it tells us how. Okay. Now prepositional phrases also tells us to what extent. All right. So not only how, but how far. So the shovel bit deep into the earth. So what is the adverb phrase?
Into earth.
The
Say
earth.
it again.
The earth.
Into the earth. Very good. Why is that the adverb phrase?
Because
it's telling you how.
To what extent? To what extent?
To what extent, right? Or how far? It's telling you how, and this one is telling you how far. So deep to what extent? It's telling you how far. Okay. All right. So we should be good with that. Any questions for me?
No, sir.
No. Okay. So an adverb phrase is still going to be a prepositional phrase, right? Still a prepositional phrase. So that means it still contains your regular. Yes, mom.
Is it a shovel bit deep into the earth? Or yeah.
Say it again.
That was 4 sentence. That's bit.
Bit.
No.
Yeah. BIT. Yeah. So we have prepositional phrases, like we said. We can divide prepositional phrases into two parts: adjective phrases and what else?
Adverb phrase.
Adverb phrase, yes. And an adverb phrase is going to modify. It's going to modify the noun by telling us what the adjective phrase. It's going to modify the noun or pronoun by telling us what.
What kind or which one?
Very good. What kind or which one? And then we have the adverb phrase, which modifies the verb, adverb, or adjective by telling us or by pointing out where, when, how, or how far, in what manner, or to what extent. Okay. Okay, are we still here? I'm only hearing a few persons. Are y'all here? You sleeping? What are you
No, sir.
No, sir, we're here.
Yes, sir.
Destiny say no, sir. We're not.
I'm here.
Okay,
Because it
that's
looks
good.
like nobody talking with you, so no, sir, we're
Yeah,
here.
everyone's
I'm
quiet.
still there.
It's
Still
still
there.
there. Okay. Any questions for me? Yeah, I know one really.
No, sir.
No questions.
No, sir. The only thing I scared of is forgetting again.
Forgetting. Okay, all right. Is Devon here? Devon, are you here, Devon?
Mr. Mati, we still gotta put that hair in your WhatsApp chat.
In my WhatsApp chat, yes. Miss Cooper, so sorry, I sent you the wrong link.
I realized that after 7 o'clock.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, man. Okay. All right, so let's move on. So we talked about, remember we talked about a phrase. We start off by saying, hey, what is a phrase? And we came to understand that, hey, a phrase is not a sentence, my friend. It's not a sentence. It is simply a group of words that is a part of a sentence, all right? It's part of a sentence, okay? And so it's going to function as a part of a speech, okay? And we started off by talking about one type of phrases, and then that was prepositional phrases. And we broke that down into two parts: adjective phrases and adverb phrases. And the next thing we're going to do now is we're going to talk about another type of phrase. Anyone have any guess on what type of phrase we're going to talk about?
Noun phrases, that's good.
No, that's probably not possible.
Say it again.
I don't know why I was gonna say simile.
Simile? No. Simile and metaphor are figures of speech. Or we call them figurative language. Or we call them literary devices.
Noun
Verb
phrase?
phrases.
Say it again.
Noun phrase or no?
No.
Verb phrase.
No.
I don't know.
No, you don't know?
Nope. I don't know.
Participle phrase.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about
Noun
a
phrase.
positive phrases.
A positive phrases.
A positive phrase.
How was I supposed to guess this?
That's how it's supposed to be. No, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Let me Y'all never did a positive phrases before?
Nope.
No.
That's
I was
not true. Stop
expecting it
lying
to
on your
be
teacher
like
name.
something.
Stop lying on your teacher name.
I swear.
You don't be
I never learned this. I know that for a fact.
I never learned this before.
Never heard of it.
Okay, so a positive phrases are words.
This is new to me too.
Okay, they are words placed next to nouns and pronouns to provide additional information.
Oh yes, I heard about this.
You heard about them before?
Yes, sir.
I feel like
All
this
right,
is
give me
something
one
should be
moment, please.
teaching
One moment,
us.
please. Give me one moment. All right, sorry about that. Okay, sorry, my apologies. Okay, so where are we? We are a positive phrases. They are words placed next to nouns and pronouns to provide additional information and details. Can you all hear me?
Sounds straightforward.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
sir.
examples would be my jacket, a windbreaker, fits well. All right, so what part of this you think is a positive?
Windbreaker.
A windbreaker.
Fits well.
Fits well. Some people say fits well.
Actually, I think it
Fits
fits
well.
well. Never mind.
Think it fits well.
Yes, it make the most sense.
No,
Yes, well.
remember,
Is it
we
a
providing
windbreaker?
additional information about. Okay, what
Yeah.
is the
Additional
subject?
information.
A windbreaker.
Oh, windbreaker.
Exactly.
Because it's saying
The
the type
jacket.
of jacket. So
Exactly. Very good. So it's a windbreaker.
Oh no, I thought like they're meaning in like a metaphorical way.
Oh boy, you in this
I got
metaphor.
confused. No,
Yes.
I didn't know. I didn't think it was like a brand name or something. I thought it was like they were being figurative.
No, they are talking about it being a windbreaker. I mean, it's a windbreaker. It breaks wind, right?
And these metaphors.
So it's giving us additional information, telling us more about the jacket. So this is with the subject.
So it fitting well doesn't tell you additional information.
That's what I'm saying.
I guess you could say that fits well tells us a different fits well.
But wouldn't the brain like the
Like
windbreaker be like
that's an extra detail. Like
I think that fits well. Does give us. Okay, my jacket fits well.
My jacket is a
My
But
God,
windbreaker.
if we just say my jacket fits well,
windbreaker. Yeah.
okay. I think what they talking about here is like more like extra details. Like if we just
Yeah,
say, like say for example, we move a windbreaker, it still would read properly, right? Um, it still would read pretty nice. But by placing a windbreaker there, it gives us extra information about our jacket.
Excuse me, can you use another example? I don't know what an actual windbreaker is.
Yeah, no problem. We could use an example. All right.
Specifically, when they say a windbreaker, they mean as a brand, or they mean like in
No,
their
they mean a
special.
brand. No, they mean a brand. No, they're not a brand.
It's a type of jacket that I don't know if anyone's in like a professional team, but they wear windbreakers usually.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, just see, this is the what's her name? She's the
Wait, so is it like to stop wind resistance?
yes, to stop the to break the wind so that they could um so that they could so that
Perform better?
okay, the wind would hold you back. You understand what I'm saying? So if you
Yeah, I
have a
understand that.
windbreaker jacket, it'll help you with running.
It helps you out.
Yeah, you
I
understand?
get I got you.
It basically helps you get warm.
This is the
I get
this is
I guess
the
you could say that.
this is the athlete. Yeah, she's the true athlete. Don't I'm telling you, she's the athlete. She could run faster than plenty of us in here, except me. But
Try me, try me.
Can I say something as well?
go ahead.
Um, it's a wind jacket is also a wind resistant jacket as well, a resistable
Yes, yeah.
jacket.
It helps you. It helps with like I said, it breaks the wind. It helps with you. If there's a lot of wind, and what would happen? What would cause you to move? What cause you to move slow, right? The wind, right? Give me one moment. Sorry about that again. All right, so we were talking about windbreaker. Let's use another straightforward example instead
Well,
of using.
well, if you put it on a windbreaker, wouldn't that automatically make you less aerodynamic?
What do you mean?
Like
I
you
don't
would
know
be
what
less,
aerodynamics means.
like you would be more of a target for the wind if you have on that bulky jacket in the first place.
No, it's not a big
But
jacket, you
like
know.
it breaks
It's a
wind.
it's a it's a it's a tin
It's a thin
jacket.
jacket.
But inside of it, it have like these parts of that keeps you warm. So like, let's say like you're a professional athlete or something, you're trying to get warm. It's gonna like
Yeah, but
help
wouldn't
resist.
that
It's like
overall
resistance.
increase your like
Pick up
still
everybody.
increase
Mm-hmm.
the area where the wind could hit you?
No, because it's like it's high. It's a high quality fabric, if you know what I mean. You gotta try it
Also,
on
it's
to
like
Yeah,
kind of.
it's like hard for the winds to get through.
Yeah, like it's like a really like it's thin, but
Tough.
like it's very compact to the point whereas you could warm up in the jacket and it'll be freezing, but your body would be warm with the jacket on, basically.
Oh, I get it. I get it. Okay. I
Okay,
think
so
we
it
should get
allows
back
you to
onto it.
perform better because you're warm.
Well, it allows you to get warm, and then once you warm, automatically you perform better when your body is warmed up.
But
Just
I mean,
Google
in
it.
like a physics point of view, like I don't think it would help like
Okay, you gotta buy a
crash the
jacket to
yeah.
window.
really
I mean, I
like
think you have
figure
to.
it
I
out,
think you
but
have to. I
based on
think
my
you have to.
experience,
Just Google it.
it's
Yeah.
good.
I did.
Yeah.
Will you
or
wear one?
or
Mr.
wear one. I
Isaac, are
mean,
we
The
there already?
windbreaker is a thin fabric jacket designed to
What
resist
is a
wind,
windbreaker?
chills, and A light. jacket is
yeah.
also
It's
made of
designed. That's what it's
materials that
designed to do.
is
Anyway,
designed to protect you from the wind.
yeah. That's
That's
its
what it's
design.
made for.
However, they figured that out. They figured that out.
Resist wind and light
Protect you from
rain.
the wind.
Yeah. All right. Let's get back to the Let's get back to the subject at hand. So I bought a book. Let's do another example so that another non. Hopefully, this one is not complicated and controversial. I bought a book, right? So that's a simple statement, right? But let's add some additional information. An international atlas.
So you basically tell us that because you say you add an additional something.
Yes. So what is the a positive phrase?
An
And an
International
international athlete.
Atlas.
Very good.
Yes,
An
thank you.
international atlas.
Finally. No controversy.
So this is one whereby we're talking about a direct object. So with a direct object, and in this case, direct object is definitely the book. All right, so moving right along. Next up, we have the man gave his wife hopefully this easy, his partner for 10 years, a beautiful opal ring.
His partner for 10 years.
Yes, sir. His partner for 10 years.
I thought like I was waiting because like I didn't know if you wanted me to answer yet or not.
Oh, okay. All right, it's correct. His partner for 10 years. Okay, so all right, so let's move on. There's more we can say about this, but I'll just leave it as such. We're running out of time. There's much more we can say about this, but we'll leave it here for now. So just know that there's more to this, but we just hitting one part of it. Okay. Let's move on to verbal and verbal phrases. That's just verbal phrases.
Mr. Isaac.
Yes, sir.
Can I make another guess?
Uh-huh.
This is kind of embarrassing, but I had something in mind and now I forgot.
Oh, mercy. Okay. All right, let's move on. But verbal phrases. First let's talk about what is a verbal, and then we can talk about verbal phrases before we actually define that one. So a verbal is a word derived from a verb. So it comes from a verb. Used as a noun, adjective, or adverb. So that's what a verbal is. Now a verbal phrase. Okay, we're not getting to that yet. Let's not go ahead of ourselves. So a verbal with modifiers or a complement, sorry, it's called a verbal phrase. We're gonna explain this and get. Oh wow, we only have 9 more minutes left. Okay, hopefully we have time to give some good sense of what we're talking about now before we actually log off. So there are three types of verbals.
So wait, excuse me.
So
Is a verb like a multiple like words like word like ways of saying things?
you can see right
Or
now.
like
You can see right now as we
speech?
explain it. It'll become very clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's
Yes.
supposed to be of, right?
There are three kinds of thank you, of verbals. We have participles, gerunds, and infinitives.
Mr. Petit,
Yes,
these was
ma'am.
on Google.
Say it again.
I saw these on Google.
Three different types of verbals. That's good.
Yes, sir.
That's good. So yeah, so y'all did this in class before, right?
No. Okay, so when you ask that question, I forget what question that was. When you ask about other types of phrases, right? I googled it, right, and I saw them, but I didn't see it because, like, I was like, he probably wouldn't think I know them type of words.
Oh, oh, you didn't say it. Okay, because that'd have been. And maybe you smile like that. Who knows? Okay.
But that
And we
that
can
woman's word,
and we can make phrases out of these three different kinds: the participles, the gerunds, and the infinitives. So, and phrases can be formed around them.
Mr. Isaac, I know I might be becoming a thorn in your side, but
No.
I wanna like why do I keep forgetting what I wanna say?
You forget? You
Like
forget, Aaron?
no, I see I'll think of asking you something and then I'll run it through my mind if I'll have a good outcome or not. And but that thinking of all that at one time like makes me forget what I was gonna ask in the first place.
Okay, here's what to do. Next time, just type it, send it to my message, or type it first so you can have the question.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Participles and participle phrases. So remember we said that we can there are different types of verbals. We have the participles, the gerunds, and the infinitives, and then we can make phrases out of them or around them, right? We can form phrases around them. So we're gonna start by determining or showing, at least in some sense, how we're gonna first do it with participles. Okay. So participles and participle phrases. So a participle is a form of a verb that acts as an adjective. And so please, we're gonna go a little bit over time, just a little bit over time. But please give me some leeway, all right? With this table, we're gonna do the table and then we're gonna be done, okay? And then next time we're gonna finish it off. So kinds of participles, all right? Parts of participles. One moment. Sorry about that. So kinds of participles and forms, and then examples. So give me a moment just to run through this table, and then we can be done for the night. All right. So that we could go a little over 9, but hopefully you understand and you give me permission to do that. because I hate to leave you all on a note just like that. So we just have to come to some conclusion. So we have present participles.
Drawing the table.
Yes, please.
All right.
And these ones, they're gonna end in what? The present participle, they end in what? They're gonna end in what?
I didn't hear the question. Can you
Present
repeat that?
participles, right? They are formed, they're gonna end in what?
ing.
Ing. Very good.
Oh wow.
No use being in.
You're going back to this.
So remember what a participle is. It is a form of a verb that acts as a adjective. Okay. So for example, his fascinating responses convince us. Where's the participle?
Fascinating.
Very good.
Fascinating.
Fascinating.
Fascinating. So fascinating is our present participle. Okay. And it acts as an adjective. Why does it act like an adjective? Because it's telling us, it's describing his responses, right? It's telling us that his responses, tells us what kind of response it is. It's fascinating responses. And then we have past participle. These are going to end in, can someone help me?
Ed.
Yeah.
Ed.
Ed. What else? T or en. So for example, if we say the extended table
Extended.
accommodated
Past.
accommodated more people. So extended is our past participle.
Mr. P.
Yes, ma'am?
It could be more than one.
In this case, I mean, it could be more than one in general. But accommodated is not a past participle here. The extended the extended in this sentence is describing the table, so it acts as a adjective. Okay. Accommodated is not describing anything. It's just telling us that it accommodated more people. But accommodated doesn't describe anything here. We're talking about a form of a verb that acts as an adjective. An adjective describes something. Okay. Then we have the perfect participle. And so this includes having or having been before a past participle. So if you have having or having been before a past participle, then you have a perfect participle. So something like having exercised, arrested. So having exercised is our perfect participle. Alright, so that brings us to the end of this session. The next time we meet, we're going to talk about a participle phrase. So we just talk about kinds of participles and stuff like that. But when we come the next time, we're going to talk about the participle phrase. And remember, we also was talking about these are in general verbal phrases. So participle phrases are in general verbal phrase. But we still have different types of verbal phrases. We have the gerunds, and the gerunds phrases are still a part of our verbal phrases. And then also we have to talk about the infinitives and the infinitive phrases. All these are different types of phrases. Okay? All right. So did we learn anything tonight?
Yes, sir.
I have finished writing
Yeah, the
yet.
graphing.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right before we leave, are we having any of this session tomorrow?
Definitely. So thanks for asking. Classes resume on tomorrow. Remember, classes are on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. All right. So 4 days.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And we use the same link. So even if you don't see the link from me, we use the same link every week. And I'm just gonna change it every week, right? But so if we have it this week, then you know that the same link that's to use every day for this week, okay? Any other questions before I go?
No, sir.
Okay, so
No,
make
sir.
sure please send in the photos, please. Send in the
Okay.
photos for your class notes. All right.
See you later, Mr. Busy.
All right. Have a wonderful night, everyone.
Bye, Mr. Pussy.
Yes. Have a wonderful night. Good night.
Mr. P, I didn't finish writing that last piece.
Okay. Who is this speaking?
This Patrice Roscom.
Oh, Patrice. How you doing?
Oh,
Good night.
wonderful. I didn't finish writing.
Okay, no
Okay.
problem.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Have a good night. I'm finished.
All right, likewise. Have a wonderful evening.
You too.